So, Van, we've seen so many peaceful protests turn violent. Um, do you think that was just bound to happen?
Listen, if you think about it, if you have 100 people who all come out at the same time, if only one of those people is a troublemaker, is a paid provocateur, is somebody who wants to do something negative, or just some local, knucklehead troublemaker, something bad could happen. Well, as you start adding numbers, you go from 100 to 1,000 to 50,000 across the country, 100,000 people, you're going to have a larger number of people who are doing stuff like that. Unfortunately, we then focus on that. What I think is so sad is we're missing the common ground. You know what the common ground is? Nobody likes lawlessness. We don't like lawlessness in police departments. That's what the protests are about. It's lawlessness, police failing to obey the law in police departments, which then creates lawlessness in the streets in response. So there's no pro-riot caucus in the Black community. There's no pro-crime caucus. Nobody wants peaceful streets more than Black people. Trust me, I'm trying to raise 2 Black boys here in Los Angeles. I'm not for riots. But if you want to hold young people to high standards out there in the streets, and I do every day, you should also hold older people, especially older people in uniform, to even higher standards. And if you just stay consistent, we're consistent. We want lawful behavior, and we don't care if you're wearing blue jeans and a T-shirt, or if you're wearing a blue uniform. We want lawful behavior. And then there's common ground. The problem is when you start saying, well, I'm no longer going to talk about the lawlessness in the police departments because I'm so mad at the people who are throwing bricks. It is unfair to the Black community. There are 40 million African Americans. 40 million. 0.000000001% have thrown a brick. Why should the rest of us have our pain and our fear as parents completely erased because of what a tiny rounding error of people are doing? And frankly, many of them have white and other people alongside of them. Some of them may be provocateurs. So let's not let the disturbances disturb our equilibrium. There is common ground on against lawlessness, starting with police departments. There's a way out of this, but we've got to be able to keep our eye on the prize. There's 3 things. Very simple. What can we do? It's very simple. The solution stack is so simple. Jail the 4 cops who were involved. Jail them. Charge them. Hey, maybe they can get off in a jury trial, but at least arrest them. Number 2, bipartisan police reform legislation to ban chokeholds and have excessive force standard that makes some sense. And number 3, surge some economic support into these communities that have been suffering all this time. And this whole thing will be over. It could be done in a week.
Yeah, I mean, we have to take a break, but just that, I mean, I don't know by the time this airs Thursday if they will have been arrested, but the fact that it's taken this long, and I know they're trying to find a solid case, they don't wait for a young Black boy or man to be a strong case before they arrest them, much less kill them.
No, wait 10 seconds.
No, they don't wait at all. So this should have happened day one. And then they just arrest the guy that was, sitting on his head with his hands in his pocket, but they don't arrest the other 3 who are complicit. Anyway, we're gonna take a break. Makes me mad. We'll be back. We're back with the host of CNN's The Van Jones Show, Van Jones, and good thing you got cast in that because that's it's Van Jones and that's your name. So. So Twitch, what were you saying just now to Van?
That everybody needs to hear what he just said. From front to back, everybody, because with all of the emotion that's going on surrounding what's happening in the streets, as far as rioting and looting and protesting, which one is which one is better, and what should stop and why. What you just spoke about as far as common ground needs to be heard the way that you just said it, and also because the way that you said it, it was uninterrupted. There was nothing to argue against, which is what's happening in a lot of the comment sections. When people try to voice our concern, people come back with a counter argument and things like that. But the way that you just put that is, I mean, to me, it was perfect. There's no way that anyone can argue. Anyone with sense, could argue what you just said, and I feel like the world needs to hear that, because it is the common ground that we need to hear right now. And bro, I give it up to you, because that was said perfectly. That was said perfectly.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was that I think that was a really great show that we had Mayor Keisha and Van on, because I think, as I said in the beginning of the show, I'm going to do everything I can to educate myself, and I want to help other people learn from watching this show, and how they can do the same and be better people and be better allies. Tell me what is just a couple of things that people watching can do.
Look, everybody should watch this documentary called The 13th. It's about the 13th Amendment and
Yep.
the way that the prison system has been built up. There's a book called The New Jim Crow. I encourage everybody to read that. And there's a book called White Fragility. White Fragility. It just talks about why it's so hard for white people to talk about race and racial issues. And when you understand what's going on in your mind when these things come up, it's so much easier to learn. So those three sources I think are great.
Yeah, Ava DuVernay and also I just ordered that book because I was watching Twitch speak about it. So I ordered a few books that Twitch recommended. We'll post those on our website, some more books that people can read to help. Van will be hosting a CNN and Sesame Street town hall called Coming Together, Standing Up to Racism this Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern on CNN. Van, thank you so much. Come back anytime. Thanks for everything.
Thank you. Appreciate being here. We'll get through this.
All right, we'll be back.